made our bed and we're sleeping in it. All right, people, if you can't see it, you're not looking very closely. The dominoes are starting to tumble. All around the world, that unrest we've been expecting is rearing its revolutionary head. What will the outcome be? It's going to be something different than the corpse-feeding bankers making bets on the sidelines anticipate. For the moment, it would be a good idea for everyone with money. They need to put it somewhere. To put it in a Muslim bank. It makes all kinds of good sense from all kinds of angles. Or you could take it out of the bank altogether, just to show yourself how much you've been depending on them. Today, I want to talk about the single most important thing that should be on everyone's mind who wants to garner the input and info necessary to survive and thrive in these times. If you want comfortable lies and useless information, you go to the mass media. If you want something closer to the truth, albeit shaded towards one agenda or another, you go to the alternative media. If you want the truth, as it has endured in various degrees of camouflage over longer periods of time, you go to those texts that have stood the test of time. If you want it direct from the source, as it exists in the moment, then you must go to the hidden fountains of the heart. Something is holding you in place. Certainly you are not doing this. Your heart is beating without your conscious assistance. Most of the functions of your body are operating independent of your authority. The whole universe goes through its motions without ever needing to seek our consultation. Doesn't it make sense to align our hearts and minds with the natural course of the cosmos, seeing as it has been going on like this forever? Isn't one of the keys of immortality to emulate that which is eternal? Limitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and we become like that which we emulate. Physicists have already proven that the universe is composed of mind stuff. The universe is thought-born. We are talking about actual touchy-feely math that impacts on the senses. You can prove yourself nearly anything to yourself, depending on how badly you want to believe it. Consider all the ways we lie to ourselves and the rationale we use to make whatever we think we want justifiable and right. On every side of you are people convincing themselves every day of the rightness of what they do and what they believe in. Some of them are so committed that they will kill you if you get between them and what they want. They have convinced themselves not only that they are right, but that God Himself has ordained it so. Families, communities, and nations have collectively convinced themselves of various things and chiseled laws into stone to prohibit and to permit whatever it is they have assured themselves is real. Then it is selectively applied depending on one's situation in life. The force of collective belief in certain things is so great that the hallucinations stand in front of you looking as real as anything can, while having no basis in reality at all. We all move under a hypnotic spell based on the repeated affirmation that what you see is what there is. That's how things come into manifestation. They are the result of precipitation of an idea from the mental plane to the physical. Let's take the idea of lying down. Let us imagine all the possibility of things we can lie down upon. This is your blueprint for a bed, a couch, a hammock, whatever possibilities there are to something to lie down on. Following this is the process of construction, and following that is the item upon which you recline. Everything you can see outside of you came about through this four-step process. In the natural world, All the elements of nature and the cosmos came about because of a similar operation within the cosmic mind. On the personal level, it comes about through the actions of ourselves and others, or through the actions of ourselves interacting with the process as we go. We are always engaged in it. Worry is a conduit for this process. Attention is a conduit for this process. Daydreaming is an excessively hydrated conduit, lacking focus and concentration. Concentration is the freeze-dried end. You have constructed the world in which you live by personal effort and by acquiescence to the products of other efforts. You place values on everything, and that makes up what it all means to you. Everything good and bad, tangible and intangible, comes about through this process. You invoke it into your life through conscious or unconscious rumination, which is a form of meditation, or you allow it in through not resisting the telepathic invasion practiced on you by the world. If you could stand guard at the gates of your mind and actually be in control, there is no limit to what you would be capable of. Since there is no one who is in total control, all you have to do is put yourself under the aegis of it. Find the one who is in control and give it full sway over your life. When your mind operates in apprehension of the force of bad laws made by bad people, you are effectively the prisoner of them. When your mind contemplates the deity under the childhood imaginings of whatever religion you grew up in, you are the victim of arrested development, spiritually speaking. When you adhere to the cultural imperatives of whatever street you're walking on, you are being manipulated by the Coca-Cola waltz, which is a kind of slow-motion Montezuma's Revenge. The radiant life force behaves like a serpent. You have the good snake side and the bad snake side, seen from a cosmic perspective. Depending on how you go along to get along and how you help and hinder, you weave your fate. The coiling of a cobra is a metaphor for the spiral of existence. The inherent urge of life is towards self-discovery, and that is abetted by external and internal forces. The natural evolution of this takes a very, very, very long time. That seems to be the way of it for most people. They're content to drift along on the river of life until it gets where it's going. Even more unfortunately, there are those whose primary motive is personal gain. This results in a circle instead of a spiral and can literally go on forever, repeating conditions that are created by particular acts. You can hothouse this process. You can accelerate it beyond anything you presently think possible. Success is speedy for the energetic, so says the Bhagavad Gita. The inner serpent is either crawling on the ground like a snake in the grass or rising up your spine into Godhead, which occurs when you have attained the cobrahood. This makes you God's signature dish and living proof of the primary intent of his unending efforts. The divine power is a serpent. It operates through human personality, or the shadow does, in most cases to varying degrees, and we lie every time we open our mouths, being inspired by the father of lies, until we choose to work for the home team. At any time in the world, the preponderance of attention and ambition is upon getting what is wanted from the shelves and stockrooms of life. The world never runs out of new products or new ways to present old products, the same way it never really comes up with any new products, and the mind never runs out of ways to fool itself into thinking that whatever it wants next is going to satisfy the drive that ignites the appetite for it, even though that's like feeding more wood into a fire and thinking at some point the fire will have had enough wood. Here are some of the great lies that have been around since we've had tongues to tell them. I'll always love you. Trust me. First I'll get rich and then I'll help other people. The end justifies the means. God is on our side. My God is the only God. They started it. One thing you can be sure of: as long as you are blinded by the objects of desire, you have no clue about the deeper issues, and anything you think you know is compromised by your knowing at the expense of what you do not know. We spend our lives in a fruitless effort to accomplish things that are only important here, and that would be okay if we were here forever, but we're not. We sacrifice qualities which give us the potential to be so much more than we are for short-term gain, for the lies of passion and desire which removes everything from the screen except what we want. We become someone else in order to be in the good graces of others who may not even like us at all. The amount of effort expended across a lifetime to prop up and defend a false self is incredible. People will die to protect a false self. They will sell out their loved ones. If one could take a moment to observe this from a pure objective standpoint, it would look unequivocally insane. In the end, at whatever point we come up against it, at whatever point we are tested to see what is and is not true about everything, including ourselves, we will have only those qualities that we have invested our time in the acquisition of. We are the sum total of the efforts we have made to become what we are, in partnership with whatever force was motivating our industry. It's all the same force, to be sure. It's our relationship to it that defines it, and our definition of it which determines the manner in which it will inevitably act out upon and within us. We take with us only the changes we have made in ourselves, and whatever those may be, they are the components that determine our further destiny.